All right, if you're a marketer, you definitely know this feeling. You are absolutely drowning in data, but your boss, they're thirsty for insights. So how do you turn that massive sea of numbers into a story that actually makes people sit up and listen? Well, in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to transform that raw data into real decisions that drive your business forward. Think of yourself as a chef. You've got a kitchen that's packed with all these incredible, fresh ingredients, but you've got no recipe. That's pretty much the modern marketer's dilemma, right? We are, as this slide says, drowning in data, but what we're really truly thirsty for is insight. The real challenge isn't about collecting more numbers. It's about turning that mountain of numbers into a story that actually inspires action. So here's our menu for this section. First, we're going to tackle that drowning in data problem head on. Then we'll get into the secret sauce of moving from data to insight. We'll cover why you have to know your audience, equip you with a powerful storytelling toolkit, take a look at dashboards, and then finally tie it all together to show how this drives real business impact. Okay, let's dive into our first course, Drowning in Data. Honestly, this is the modern marketer's dilemma. We have access to more information than at any point in human history, but a lot of the time, it just feels like we're adrift in this huge ocean of metrics with no compass to guide us. Now, this piece of advice right here is pure gold. Don't measure anything you wouldn't know how to act on. I mean, think about it. If a metric changes and your only reaction is a shrug and an, oh, that's interesting, then it's just noise. What you're looking for, what you need, are the metrics that make you go, aha, right, we need to do X. So the big question is, how do you actually find those aha moments? Well, that's exactly what this next section is all about, moving from just data to real insight. This is where we spill the beans on the secret recipe for finding the why and the what's next that's hiding in all your numbers. Let's just pause here for a second. We throw these words around all the time, don't we? Data, insight. But what is the actual difference? You know, at its core, it's pretty simple. Data tells you what happened. Insight tells you what to do about it. And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. Over on the left, you've got your data. That's the what. Something like, we had 1,000 website visitors in March. It's a fact. It's a number. But on the right, that's where the magic happens. That's insight, the why and the what's next. Noticing a dip in weekend visitors isn't just a data point. It's an insight that tells you, hey, our audience is probably B2B and they're only active during the work week. Now that is something you can act on. So here's the key takeaway, the thing to really remember. Insight is the story that connects all the dots. It's not just about what the data is saying, it's about what it means, which means you then know what you should do about it. Insight is that critical bridge that takes you from just looking at something to actually taking action. Okay, so you found this brilliant insight. Now it's time to serve it up. But, and this is the cardinal rule, you have to know your audience. Let's go back to our chef analogy. You wouldn't serve a 5-course tasting menu to someone who just popped in for a quick burger and chips, would you? It's the exact same data, but it needs to be presented completely differently to different people. And this table here shows you exactly how that works. Your CEO, she wants the 30,000-foot view, just the key performance indicators and the return on investment, all on a single page. Your marketing manager, on the other hand, needs the nitty-gritty details on campaign performance. And the specialist? They want to dive headfirst into the raw data. See? It's the same data, but you're telling 3 totally different stories. Right, so what are the absolute essential tools for any good data storyteller? Let's crack open the toolkit and have a look. Think of these as the fundamental skills that every great data chef absolutely needs to master. First up is an oldie but a goodie. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS principle. Your job isn't to show off how complicated the data is. It's to make the complex incredibly simple. You are a translator, not a data dumper. And here's a pro tip straight from the world of journalism. Don't bury the lead. A title like Q3 Marketing Performance Report is a total snooze fest. But a title like 15% sales growth driven by email campaigns, well, that grabs your attention and tells you the entire story right up front. Your headline should be the conclusion, not just some boring generic label. Just look at the difference here. The before chart on the left is just a jumble of data. It's meaningless without context. But the after chart on the right, it tells a crystal clear story. Sales exceeded target in November. Just by adding a simple target line and a little note explaining why, you've turned a really boring chart into a compelling narrative. You know, this entire process, the whole thing, really just boils down to these 3 simple steps. Data,
leads to insight, and insight must lead to action. If you don't connect your incredible insight to a clear recommendation for what to do next, you've honestly missed the most important part of the job.
And please remember this, your report is not finished until you have answered the so what question. Recommending what the business should do next, that is where your expertise really shines. It's what transforms you from being a historian of past data into a guide for the future.
The whole world of reporting is changing, and fast. We're moving away from those static, old-school reports and towards live dashboards. The best way to think about it is this. A report is like a photo of last month's dinner, whereas a dashboard is a live video feed from the chef's kitchen, right now. And the key difference is just so simple. A report is retrospective. It's a static snapshot looking back at what already happened. A dashboard, on the other hand, is a current, interactive tool you use for ongoing monitoring. It is all about the now, which lets you make agile, day-to-day decisions. But listen, a great dashboard is so much more than just a collection of charts. It has to follow 4 simple rules. First, focus on your key North Star metrics, the ones that really matter. Second, design for the 5-second rule. Can someone get the key takeaway in just a glance? Third, make sure your data is accurate and up-to-date. That's a big one. And fourth, use little notes and annotations to tell a story, even in a small space. Okay, you've learned the techniques, you have the tools in your toolkit. Now it's time for the big payoff, driving business impact. This is where you go from being a marketing analyst to being a strategic partner. This is how you earn your Michelin star and get that seat at the main table. This staircase here shows you the exact path to making an impact. You start with raw data, you turn it into useful information, you uncover the crucial insight, you make a smart recommendation, and from that, you create real business impact. You see, you're not just a number cruncher, you're a strategic guide. So if you remember just one single thing from this whole explainer, please make it this. A good marketing report tells a story with data rather than just listing data. That single sentence is the entire mindset shift, right there. All right, your turn. Time to be the data storyteller. Imagine this scenario. Your latest campaign is driving loads of traffic. Fantastic. But your conversion rate is 50% below your target and your cost per acquisition is through the roof. So, what do? So, how would you take that data and turn it into a compelling story for your marketing manager? What's the key insight that's going to lead to a smart, actionable recommendation? The answer to that question, well, that's where you're going to find your true value as a data-driven marketer. Now go out there and tell your story.